Well, welcome to my little observatory. My name is Sahara, as you may know, and I'm going to show you something you can do with your chart to help you understand some things that will help guide you through life. I'm going to do it to the example of Wayne Dyer's chart, and I think I'm going to do some more with some famous people. To understand this terrific tool, if you just start with the basics, as with learning anything, you want to start off with the three major points that you must know to guide your life and to understand those around you. So let's look at Mr. Wayne's chart, who just passed recently and left quite a legacy. We're going to see why. But everybody has the kernel or gem of legacy in their chart. They just have to learn where their gifts are and how they can better utilize them. Knowledge is a thing. Let's look at the three main factors in a chart that says who you are. Of course, there's a lot of other things, but you want to start off with these things if they're the foundation. The first thing, one of the most important things in a chart is the rising sign. And you're going to see here that it is in Pisces. And the next thing you want to know about another person or yourself is the sun and the moon. The sun is in the sign of Taurus. And this is the glyph for the sun. And this is the glyph for the moon. So we have a Taurus moon and a Gemini moon, a Taurus sun and a Gemini moon. The two symbols that you've probably seen these before and you know what they are. This is the sun. This is the giver of life, the center of our solar system. This is Taurus the bull. You can give a whole lecture on these two facets alone. However, you're not just your sun sign. In fact, far from it. Many people put the ascendant and the moon to be a more important aspect. By the way, before we go on, I must apologize for my voice. I was in the Miss Georgia Peach contest and I swallowed a peach pit. And I'm going to be back to my opera lessons any day now. But meanwhile, this gives me plenty of time to be looking up at our celestial friends. And this is the moon. This is the glyph for the moon. It's kind of obvious what that is. And this is the sign of Gemini. And Gemini always means two, and we'll get to that. It means so many things. It's certainly the intellectual sign, writing and communicating, and travel is one of the main factors of Gemini, if not, it's the factor of Gemini, an intellectual air sign. And Gemini says, I like to disseminate information. So you see already this chart is showing the traits of the native. And the rising sign is Pisces, and Pisces is symbolized by the two fish swimming in two directions. A little like Gemini, usually it can always mean two. Pisces is undoubtedly one of the most interesting signs. And that as well is a whole universe right there, to literally. This is the glyph for Neptune. This, of course, is a symbol for Neptune, god of the seas, who rules the subconscious. And the Pisces personality on the rising ascendant, it just tells you that we have a dreamer. Pisces are dreamers, and you have vision. So we'll talk a little bit about the vision of the Pisces and how he was able to use the stability of Taurus, the communication skills of Gemini, and the far-seeing otherworldly parts of his Pisces rising. Pisces people are your most fascinating and complex, next to Scorpio. Back to the cosmos. This, of course, as you may know, is a picture of the cosmos at birth. If you were looking straight up with the camera and took a picture of the skies, this is what you'll see. Astrology is the oldest sciences study, and it could take up easily 100 years to understand everything about it. And it's also a kaleidoscope. It's always moving. But we're going to stick with a few simple things and not get too otherworldly, because down here on Earth, we have to think about how to utilize this. So Pisces rising, and we saw the glyph for Pisces, and this is Neptune. We saw the symbol for Neptune. It's over here. Here is Neptune, god of the seas. It rules about a million things. This could already be a 2-hour talk just on these things alone. Now here is our Taurus sun sitting right in the second house. The houses are where you reside. So the houses are sometimes, I feel like they're more important than anything. It's good to know all these other things, but knowing where they reside is actually a little more important. So you have the sun in Taurus in the second house. What does that mean? Taurus likes stability. These two things, the second house, you want to look in your chart to see where your sun is. You certainly know what your sun sign is, but do you know what house it's in? That's more than 50% of the meaning. So we have a stable personality. Someone that picks something and sticks with it. They grab onto something and they are off and running. And Wayne became interested in psychology at a really early age. As you may know, he was an orphan, more or less, in and out of foster homes. That shows up very clearly on his chart. This gives him the orphan mentality that he speaks about. And you're always insecure, and you're also a magnet. You can't say that he was like a material person. Now, Taurus is a material sign. They have to put their hand on it. And they have humor. Taurus is the fellow that is lying on the chaise lounge, drinking wine and eating chocolates. They love the earthly pleasures, and they love the humor and music. Anything that's pleasant, that's a Taurus. But they're also a natural magnet. They're always going to have land. Now, if you think about his early childhood, if you saw his chart when he was born and saw that he was going to go into fostering homes, orphanages, and whatever, you would know right away this little fellow was going to be stable and secure, because that's what happens. That's natural for Taurus. But Wayne is like a double Taurus. Here we have the Taurus sun sitting in the second house, which is ruled by Taurus. So you have Taurus, Taurus. That's just fantastic for expressing yourself. When you have the planet in the actual house of the rulership, it's like double, because sometimes you can be, say, a Taurus up here in the 11th house. You're going to be stable, but you're also going to need group and community activities. Let's say it's over here in the second house. You're going to be stable and stick with things. In the 7th house of partnership, so the but when you have, because this is the Libra house, this is a Aquarius house. So what you have here is, this is not watered down to be split into two signs. It's just plain Taurus, 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 double strong. It's like double your money. It's double. The same thing happens here in the 3rd house, ruled by Gemini. Who's there? A Gemini moon. And we saw the glyph for that. The moon is what you need emotionally. And where she's residing shows what you need emotionally. That's why on the internet there's so many new tools for you to learn these things. And I think that it's kind of given to us as a gift from the cosmos. This is the age of Aquarius. And one of the small bennies of this age is plenty of communications and knowledge, almost too much knowledge. With this knowledge, you are not relying on some cranky astrologer to sit in a tower with a little telescope and figure things out. You have the blessings of NASA and the internet to give you all that you, there's no excuse for not knowing these things. And you don't have to be like an astro geek like me and other astrologers. You just need to know these things. If you have a Gemini moon, communication, the 3rd house is the house of communication. So you have like Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. You have the sign of Gemini in Gemini. It's not watered down. So you have extra focused of these planets. So you have a eye for working hard and being materially secure and communicating. Does this sound like our Mr. Wayne Dyer, Dr. Dyer? Sure it does. He really could, who you say communication was his whole life. It shows what you need emotionally. The moon is your emotions. I need to communicate. Well, he did a fine job, and how important that was to him. It was his spirituality was the whole thing, and he got that from being a Pisces. So just by knowing these things, I have vision. I will work hard and gain stability because I have orphan mentality, and I will write and communicate. It is my path. So right away, if you saw this little boy's chart when he's just born, you would know these things, and you have these gifts too, and you can look up your sun and your moon and see what houses they're in, because we'll look at some other placements, but for now, and you can do this for yourself. Where is my sun? If it's over here in, let's say, the 5th house, well, you have a great sense of humor. You love children. If it's in the 6th house, you'd like to work. So you'll have a blending of the meanings. This is where you find your vitality, a sense of humor, and values. When you're in the second house, you have to have value and have worth. He talks about that in his talks, how important it is to have a meaningful life full of worth, purpose. Now we have the Gemini. I need to communicate. If you know just even a little bit about Mr. Dyer, Dr. Dyer, you're going to see that that was his whole path, was communicating. Of course, lecture books, you know, 50 books, and how many lectures, and but let's look at another thing that you might want to know. And if you just know these things about your own self, you're going to learn about those around you, and you're going to know yourself. And that's your own personal responsibility. We have, here is Neptune. Neptune, of course, we could talk about Neptune as an extremely expansive and interesting otherworldly planet. Neptune came to our solar system from another world and was captured by the sun's gravitational pull. Therefore, Pisces wander around like they don't belong here. They are looking up and over the horizon. Where is my home? They are people of another world. They're aware of other worlds, and they are the most otherworldly sign. Well, he took this spirituality to the next level, writing about it. But he had the stability to do all of this. And you can learn so much just by where's my sun, where's my moon, where it's a ruler of my ascendant. Of course, there's other planets. When you move on a little bit and you learn where your Venus and your Mars are, that's going to tell you what you love and how you get it, and what's important to you. Do you want romantic love, or do you want a vault full of diamonds, or fame, or to express yourself? So those are things that flavor the rest of the chart. But look up where your sun is, where your moon is, and where your rising sign is. Look up the different houses they're in, and you will. There's no self-help book on the market that's going to tell you as much as he's got. However, our time is coming to a close. We'll come back to some more charts of famous people that will help you understand your chart and your gifts. You have some gifts too, no matter what and where you are. We have a poor orphan boy. He had gifts, and look what he did with it. And he was known as the father of motivation and inspiration. And if you're a fan of his works and philosophies, you'll see that he took he used the best of what he had. So Pisces rising, find out what your rising is. You could have anything, Capricorn, Scorpio, and they're going to tell you about your life. And also, that Neptune is kind of in the 6th house here. This is the house of work. I love to work. My work is my life, and that's what it became. And it has to be inspirational. Inspirational Pisces, this is my work. And he said that all the time, of course. So I love to work, but it's going to have to be things of another world and inspiration and meaning. He's just not going to be a Taurus and have wealth and power and security, but you're going to need meaning. And that's what he talked about. I need it to mean something. I say that's been, he's mentioned it many times. I need worth, and it has to mean something. And I need to communicate this is the strongest pull here. And that's because it's on his, where you stand. The moon shows what you need emotionally. And we could go on and on. I think we'll come back to it, but I want to move on to some other charts to help you learn about your own chart so that you can look them up. What you can do is go on to any of the many astrological data sites. You can get your chart is so accessible. Believe me, trust me, kings and queens didn't have this kind of information available. And you can you can find out what these things mean. If you can't, and you want a little more, let me know on my Facebook page or in my message page or on my website that you want a copy of your chart. Electronically, anybody can supply it to you in a New York minute, and you just don't know what a gift that is. So I will, next time we're talking, I'll show you how to find my channel so that you can look at more charts and even your own chart and learn and start learning. Not a big study here. If you just want to, if you just learn these two things, and you're set to go. The best, you're going to know what your path is, what you need emotionally, and where you reside. He resides in the house of finances. That's not a surprise. He said he once in a lecture, he said he made so much money he had to get a new calculator. He couldn't even add it up. So there you go. Second house of material comfort. Communication. How many books did he write? I think he got up to about 50. And how many lectures? Oh my God. And Neptune, I need meaning coming from, and I believe. Pisces says, I believe. So let's talk later. Drop a note in my Facebook public page, or when I come back, I'll show you how to get, just communicate with me and I can send you your own chart like this, not the real complicated they usually see. So once again, my name is Sahara. Maybe when I see you again, my voice will be better, and I'll get back to my opera lessons. Maybe I could even sing someone's chart via opera. That would be fantastic. Can you imagine Pavarotti doing their chart? Oh my goodness, what a treat. So we have these wonderful things, and our dear Mr. Wayne, he did what he came in to do, and he was satisfied. And you've got those things too. You can take advantage of your abilities, your talents, what you've been given. So I love you all, and happy cosmos and charting.